name is Gyro Williams, and this is the jerk spot. I first came to Toronto. I came straight from Jamaica to Toronto here, and I first started out in the clothing business. I had a friend wanting to sell a restaurant. This is 1994 we're talking about. Okay, so he wanted to sell a restaurant in 94, so I bought the restaurant. I never cooked before except for my parents. I bought the restaurant, never worked there. And then one day I stopped by with a couple friends and we didn't like the food. So so they said, so I went in the kitchen and I started cooking, and I got stuck in the kitchen since. That's 95, right? So eventually I found out that Yonge Street was downtown. So I go into Yonge and Wesley. So I needed a partner. So I grabbed a partner, we went to Yonge and Wesley. And then the business started booming. We were doing really well. People started getting hipped on our chicken. And we got married, so we had to part. So we part. We had a part. We sold the business. We out. So now I went to Parliament, and I was at Parliament in Gerrard. Definitely not a good area. My landlord at the time was, there was this guy, what's his name? Mr. Pong. Mr. Pong was the big guy in the takeout business. And he was my landlord. He locked me out. So yes, we got locked out. And now I was storeless. And this time I was living in Mississauga. I had a beautiful wife. She works at St. Mike's. She's a cardiologist. She had no idea that I got locked out. So here I am now, locked out. I'm like, what am I gonna do? So I went downtown. I bought a hot dog stand, and I came out with my hot dog stand. As soon as I'm pulling up on the park where all the other hot dog guys are, they're like, get out of here, get out of here. This is not your space. So I said, I'm not selling hot dog. I'm going to be selling jerk chicken. They still wanted me out of there. So I'm out there and I'm saying, jerk chicken, spice up your love life, $5 jerk, $5 jerk. And I'm selling jerk chicken. Okay? And I started making a killing. The officer came by one night and he says, you got to move. He wanted us to move. He gave me a ticket for $900. And I'm like, what am I going to do now? He's like, we got to move. Then the security and all the people that were waiting on the food saw me started to pack up, and I'm like, no food for you, I got to go. They started to bump the officer's car. The officer came over to me and he says, could you please let them leave my car and I'll let you stay. And that's how I stayed there. And then he said, you can't, I don't want you to be back out here the next day. Of course I'm there the next day. Anyway, there was this, I found out later that he was a lawyer, Arns Force, at 224 Adelaide. He owned the building, and he had some bylaw violation on his building. He came by and he looked so frustrated, and I'm like, I need a place to go in and sell chicken now, right? So I saw him and I said, you know what? Because I could clean up this garbage if I could just stay outside here, you know, because at least now I'm in a place. It will be shelter for me to stay there, right? And he says, okay, I'll let you do that. So I cleaned up the place. Gave me the key and I got access to the whole building. So I'm at 224 Adelaide Street. I ended up staying there for 6 years. I ended up renting the place. I took the place over. I was paying $60,000 a month. Yes. And my jerk chicken got huge. And then he pasted a sign on the back of the thing. They paste a big sign and then they write up a lot of things on it. They said, stop feeding the monkeys. You know, City TV is just around the corner, right? So I went over to City TV and I asked them, I said, you know what, I wanted to come to video this thing to say this racism thing is not great, this is bad, right? And they're like, no, we can't do that. We don't want Toronto to be known for that. You know, a lot of people know the shop, like they know the shop. It's the jerk spot, it's the entertainment spot, it's the after party spot. And then my wife passed away. She had an aneurysm. And hell break loose. After that happened, I kind of slowed down a bit. I went to 120 Peter, you know, but I kind of slowed down because I had some immigration problems and name it. It was hard. I think I came here in 2009 at 149 Baldwin. I came at 149 Baldwin in 2009, and then by 2014 I actually sorted out all my immigration problems. So I started back up again. I haven't done any marketing or anything like that. I just let it flow because I intend to break out a lot bigger than what I am right now. So I don't want to overdo myself at this time, because I have to train people to actually care. But my jerk chicken has become authentic. It has been the best jerk chicken in Toronto. People, I have the jerk chicken breast, which nobody ever do, because they make this rubbery thing, and I make this soft, tender, juicy chicken. Oh yes, I remember I was in Toronto. There was a sign that says release. So I went there and I said, do you know the landlord? Because I'm calling the lease number and I haven't been able to get a hold of the guy. So I said, do you know the landlord? Is it the same landlord that you have here? And he says, you're just gonna waste your money opening a business. You know, black people only open business, but they can't run them. Well, the thing is, you see, there's so much barriers in order for black people not to open business. One of them is if you have criminal record, you can't open a business. You know, you have to go to a tribunal in order for them to decide whether you are qualified to open a business if you have a criminal record. We're the primary targets for the police, right? And so they will just pull you over. You say the wrong thing, and man, you got a record. You know, in my part time, I had some time. So I was sitting playing with my phone, and I saw a pop-up came up and it says, be a consultant. And I'm like, I'm 55 years old. I've been to school since 1984. I'm going to try this out. I got my diploma and now I'm waiting to do my exam. But no, I will not leave my jerk chicken.